Hello, fish heads. Just another quick update on the 110-gallon pond. Just going to show you the tower sponge filters I built. Everybody was asking about these, how they went together and everything. So they're just siliconed onto the base down there of a bucket of rocks. And that little lid that it's attached to screws off. So it's just siliconed on there. So the lids on top of the container that these are siliconed to have holes drilled through them to allow the air bubbles to rise up. And as you can see, the airline hoses run into the very bottom of those containers down there, which allows for maximum uplift from the airlines. Exits out through the top. So all that oxygen passes around the stones and the media that I'm going to have down in there. Of course, got some aragonite in there as well. So I'm going to be putting some stuff in here that likes to have high pH and high mineral content. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is why the knitter's mesh has an uplift tube going right to the very surface. So as you can see on this one, when the bubbles come up, the water shoots straight up. And the bubbles tend to stay just around the tube, not drifting to the edge of the pond and popping. And you can see bubbles drifting across here coming from this one that I have directly on the bottom. So when bubbles rise up without an uplift tube that allows the water to dissipate out through every pore, so it's losing water all the way up through once it gets beyond that, but the bubbles themselves drift straight up without a lot of current right on the very surface to push them outwards. So this one over here is right on the bottom, just running out of a tube down there with some weights on it to keep it down. And you can see the bubbles are making their way right out to the edge of the pond, where they pop and we end up with water droplets, which eventually will just end up on the floor and everywhere else. That's only been there for just a couple minutes. Just before I turn the camera on, there's already water droplets everywhere because of it. So I just thought I'd mention that. That's one of the reasons I use the mesh for this, is to stop that drifting so much. And you can see they drift right out to all edges of it because of it. So that tube allows that water to dissipate out through the sides of the actual uplift tube, reducing the amount of push across the surface to those bubbles. And look at them just drifting over here from this one just sitting right there. It's actually quite a bit away. So, anyway, just a little bit about that. Siliconed the sponges onto the top of that after boring the center of those out on my lathe. Took some of the knitter's mesh. You can see it there. Put that down inside of it, stitched it together. On this one over here I left the stitching out so we could get a kind of a better look at how it's stitched together. But that's pretty much it. It's just a couple of the Aqua Clear 110 sponges, silicone down onto that base. Right now it's just full of stones. I'm going to fill it with lava rock later, just to boost the bio a little bit more in here. But these should have no problem keeping enough bio in my pond to keep things running, keep things clean. Of course I can just unscrew those to take them out, to beat the sponges out when they get full of crap. Got this on an auto start here. Let me click my auto start button over here on my little remote and we'll turn it back on. There we go. As you can see, the pump's way over there behind the thing of salt. I love my salt. of salty. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. Pumping good. Sit here and get a look across the surface of it. I want you to spit a little bit. It's always fun. Arr, should be as sexy as a pair of mermaid nipples. It's always fun. So, until next time, arr, later, fish heads.